Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet. Coach Kyle Evans here, and this is the G.R.O.W Show, man. It's Friday, and I've got a treat for you. It's going to be so good. So, without wasting any time, I'm going to intro this cat and bring him into the world of G.R.O.W as we know it. It is my honor, it is my privilege to introduce to you people someone that I look up to. And here's the thing why, guys. It is so easy these days when we're keeping up with the Joneses and using the highlight reels of social media to put on a mask, to try to blend in, to just do normal stuff. This dude marches to the beat of his own drum, and I love it. He is his own brand, and he is unapologetically himself. And I think that we all can take a little nugget from him and what he does and how he does it, man. He's also a great family man, great husband, built a huge business, and he crushes it having fun. And by the way, he's got one of the best, in my opinion, agent referral touches in the game. His marketing is on point. His social media is fire. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, Patrick!
What's going on? That was a brilliant intro.
Hey, I'm just telling it like it is, man. If the intro was brilliant, then think about the person I was talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say that everyone's going to be gone in like 30 seconds once they start getting into this, but like that intro was fire. Thank you.
Oh man, hey dude. So I have the pleasure of knowing you and been able to be in your world for quite some time, man. For the people who don't, who are you?
I'm a real estate agent. Like no, but like honestly, right? Like that's like my thing. And then outside of that, I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I come from like the world of music into real estate, like 15 plus years ago. That's me. And look, it may sound cliche, but the only thing that I care about from like a real estate perspective is leaving the consumer with choice. So operating from integrity and transparency and making sure that they're aware of everything. And we tell clients, we're like, look, I don't really care if you buy or sell with us. Like if that's your goal, amazing. But there's never going to be us pressuring them to have a fucking like check written because we don't want to wake up in 3 months and they're not happy with things or they felt like they were. That's just not part of the game. So if they walk away after a 6-month home search, yeah, it's not fun, but that's what was best for them because they were doing whatever they're doing with their life. Like awesome, and we hope that they sing our name to like everyone that they know, and that's us.
How long have you been in the game, man?
January 15th, 2008 is when I started.
Woo!
I got licensed. Yeah. I was licensed July of 2007 after walking across the stage for college that I was a half a credit short of. I was like gigging, doing the music thing, cleaning toilets at the North Shore Music Theater. It was around Thanksgiving of that year. My mom was like, "You got to get a real job." And I was like, "What are you talking about, Mom? Like the fuck?" And
Patrick, this is a live show.
Jeez.
I have no bleeper.
Okay, so thank you. So the first real job I had was selling Cutco knives for about 2 weeks. I sliced part of my thumb off. It's probably tough to see there. But then I was like, well, this I can't do. So then I actually started to work in real estate. And my mom thought that was a real job.
Nice.
I'm not kidding you. I think through 2 months later, I finally moved out of my parents' house because we actually were making a little bit of income, like which at that point, look, going from musician to real estate, like $45,000. It was like
does like the whole year of gigging and cleaning toilets.
I started out doing rentals, so which you can make a lot of money on in Boston,
Sure.
but still, like either way, it was like more money that I'd ever seen in my life.
Cool.
In that
man.
first year, maybe I made $50,000.
maybe that was probably what, triple your current income at that point?
5x. I was a giggy musician who was like okay. Like I wasn't like, trust me, if I was on stage with like, Beyonce, maybe I'd still be doing it, but like I wasn't.
For sure. So we found our lane in real estate. We started making more money than we ever have. We're half a thumb short, right, from an experiment in Cutco. And how did you kind of find your way, man? Because again, you have your own voice in this game and you've built your own brand standing on who you are and your personality, which chef's kiss, I love and appreciate.
Man, so there's a couple different things that I think I can point to throughout the years. One of them, and this is way back 2008, 2009, I was watching like on YouTube's the Colton Lindsays of the world doing like cold calling. Not that I was very good at that. Like I was not good at that, but you could see that they were putting it all out there, even though they were following, a specific conversation. At the time, they probably called it a script. Derek Lipsky was another one who's actually in Massachusetts. And so and this is mostly on YouTube though. It's like crazy to me because this was so long ago. So that always gave me the inclination of like, all right, like these people are being real. During that first brokerage I was at, I would literally go out on the street in Boston by the colleges with like a paper flyer. And the flyer was like, I'm not going to sleep until I find you an apartment. I'd be screaming at like college kids coming by, who needs an apartment? So like that helped like just be like opening the shell, like actual outbound sales.
Sure.
And then I was always on the internet. I was always making content, but it was probably, I want to say it was like 2018 or so. I went to, maybe it was 2018. I went to a conference in Miami, a Gary V, like Agent 2021. He had realtors and life insurance people and mortgage people and car sale. It was all agents. And there's a guy, Andy Frisella, who has some podcast, I'm sure a bunch of other stuff. He gave a big talk there. And one of the main point was, look, you guys are all making content on social media. And, 98% of you are riding the fence down the middle because you're trying to placate to everyone when there is subconscious biases of people that are never going to work with you just because you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too loud, you have glasses, you have a beard. They don't even know, but they want a girl who's blonde. And like, that's just.
Yeah. They want something, not you.
So he said, look, the best approval rating of like a president is like 50%. So the fact that you're out there trying to win everyone over is absolutely absurd. And he said you should really triple down on the people that love you and like go after that. And in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, there's 6 billion people in the world at the time. I don't know what there is now. Yeah, if I could get 600,000 of that to be a raving fan, that'd be insane. So like that's just, and so it's been a slow peel back, I think, of the onion in terms of content and creating that and putting yourself out there. Because look, there's times now where I still am going to like post and it's like, should I really do this? But no, really, you have a pit in your stomach. And I will say this, the best content usually comes out of that.
The best content is usually polarizing.
Yes.
And one of the things that and you specifically, I talk about you in almost every room because you've kind of identified who you want to be and being true to that and just being like, you know what, who cares? Because guys, I'm going to give you kind of on the same vein he's talking about with Andy Frisella. I'm going to give you completely made up statistics that I find true. 20% of people are not going to work with you because of your race, because of your size, because of your gender, because of your political beliefs, because of your cultural views, because of your religion, whatever. They're not going to work with you. Does not matter what you say, how you do it. They're not. 20% of people are going to work with you because of your race, your gender, your age, how you look in the mirror, whatever. It's going to happen. But what we should focus on as real estate professionals is the 60% that are going to choose to work with us because of our skill set, because of our knowledge, because of our customer service, because of how we show up. Like, we've got to stop giving away the 80% that are going to work with us for the 20% that never will.
And you can't. Yeah, and what I don't want to be lost in this is what you talked about is displaying that skill set and the knowledge. Like, that's huge. And so within
Yeah.
the content, I try to always be putting stuff out there that's reflective of that, which could just be market information and data.
Mhm.
And sometimes the best example of that is really just putting the data out there and not necessarily even giving an interpretation, especially if you are second guessing what the interpretation is. Or sometimes in today's world, if it's a big, long, like 500 word thing, like, yes, there's a place for that for sure. But, don't overthink it.
For
Don't
sure.
overthink it. Yeah.
So,
And
Pat, yeah, go
you know
ahead.
what else? You know what else people stink at on social media? And this is a big thing I see with real estate agents, which I assume translates into other businesses as well too. But they do sort of this copycat thing of, I see a trend going on and someone's did a good, and it's usually funny and some sarcasticness to it, maybe about a buyer showing up on the final walkthrough with a brand new car and not getting the loan, right? They're talking about the buyer, like about the client,
Mhm.
about the consumer, which the consumer might get it, they might find it funny, but they're missing like who that person is. They got to talk to the consumer. They got to talk to the buyer. Like, that's
Mm.
a huge issue that I see. And look, there's some people that purposely will grow like social media only to try to like attract agents and get referrals.
Sure.
Awesome. But if you want to really interact with the general public and hopefully have people reaching out to you that are like in love with you, you got to talk to them.
So, guys, what we're transitioning into here is literally one of Patrick's just strong suits. He's continually working on the level, in my opinion, towards mastery in this, and it's social media. I mean, he helps agents with it, he coaches agents on it, and he has thriving social media presence. And again, a lot of it is just doing himself and being that, man. What are some tips? What are some ideas? You just dropped a great one, talking to the consumer instead of about the consumer. What are some other easy things that people watching this show could implement in the next week, the next quarter, this year?
So I feel strongly that there's very few people in the real estate world, is on the agent side, the brokerage side, that don't want to do social media or at least feel like they need more on there. And that's a dangerous spot
Sure.
because, look, there's some people who are running amazing businesses, way better than mine in my own market, that essentially don't have any presence on social media. Some literally don't, and
Hmm.
others it's there. It's a placeholder. So if you're crushing it and you feel the need, hey, I have to do this. Like, sure, I agree, but I wouldn't give up what you have by any means. You have to supplement. And then there's a whole other host of people that they feel they need to get to. Like, my goal is probably, and it ebbs and it flows, but like if you really said like, hey, let's see your like daily goal, like social media wise, it's probably 5 posts a day,
Cool.
like on a given thing. But no one should go from like 1 post a week, 2 posts a month to that. There's like, you're gonna die. So like, there's a consistency that is absolutely present, but start your consistency with, can I get one a week?
Hmm.
Do that for 90 days, right? Can I go to 3 a week after that? Do that for 90 days. Can I go to 1 a day? Like, that's, going all gas generally isn't a good thing. And I will say that, like, that's from someone who goes all gas on it. The other thing I think is, people feel, and you kind of alluded this to in the intro there, they feel that they have to show up as someone the consumer expects to see, or what they think the consumer wants to see. The consumer yeah, there's a part that cares about that, sure. But if you are getting on and doing video and going face to camera and you feel like you have to wear the suit for it, there's going to be a day where you just don't want to do it because you don't want to put on the suit. Now, if you're the cat that wakes up on Saturday morning with no appointments, Sunday morning, nothing to do, and you put on the suit anyways, like the full shower, the shave, and the suit, then you should definitely wear a suit.
Yeah, that's you. Go for it.
Yeah. And there's cats that crush it doing that on TikTok, Instagram, like from the agent world. Like, mad respect. That's awesome. But that's a big thing. I think you're never going to magically love your voice if you think it sounds bad, but that's literally how you sound, like, to everyone. So I don't know. I don't be in sales. I don't know. I like, that's just something you're gonna have to live with.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, especially on what you say, and you literally impacted a lot of how I teach branding, specifically because I came up in the, hey, should wear a suit, should be dressed to the nines, all the things. And I noticed that the people who became my raving fans, the people who became my referral partners, liked me more when I was just being me, as opposed to when I was pretending to be a real estate agent. And the more I've studied this and looked into this, we used to always say that gratitude is the highest form of energy. What they have found actually is authenticity is the highest, most attractive form of energy. And so when you are being your authentic self and truly that, you will find more people flocking to you than you originally had in your mind, of that those people would be the ones you would alienate.
Yeah, big time. Look, it constantly amazes me the amount of people that will reach out to us, and essentially their message is, I don't agree with a lot of your views, whatever, but I know you can sell a house.
Yeah.
And we work together. That's great. Like, I'm not even showing up as someone that they necessarily like or agree with, but I am showing up as myself.
That's right.
And they're into it. So, like, that's I mean, that's a huge thing. There's, I mean, look, I live in the city of Boston. Well, I live just north of Boston, but our office is right in Copley Square. Like, you couldn't get more, like, conservative from a, like, dressing and financial, like, but, like, yeah, there's a lot of people that wear suits down there. Like, you have to if you're showing up to the office sometimes, but, like, we do just fine with this. It is what it is. The authenticity part cannot be understated, and it will take time to put yourself out there like that.
Yeah, to feel comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, like, look, if you're talking to your wife, your sister, your mom, whoever, your best friend about real estate, because they're coming to you for whatever someone right now today in this market would come to for, that's how you should be talking to the camera. Period.
You know, you're in New England, up there in the north. There's a little institution there not many people know of. It's called Harvard. And yeah, and Harvard has done some extensive research on this, and they came up with something called the triangle of trust. And you brought up such a great reflection piece about this. There are some people that work with you who do not agree with your views or how you talk or whatever, but they choose to work with you anyway because, guys, he is hitting on the points of the triangle of trust. There's trust there, even though it's not, I want to have a beer with this person. And the three pieces of that: number one, authenticity. We talked about it. Logic. Does he know what he's talking about? He's always proving that. And by the way, the third one he talked about in the beginning of the show, it's empathy. It's, hey, I actually care about you and what you're doing. We don't have to have a beer. We don't have to share the same presidential take, but you know that I actually care about you. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm being myself. And those are the three pieces of that trust triangle that you're hitting on, man.
I think what's tough is that the authenticity can a lot of times come off to people as um, putting themselves at the center of everything,
Hmm.
which is to a degree that's true. I mean, look, like sure, I'm going on the camera and I'm talking. So like inherently, who's at the center of that? I'm at the center of that, which means that there has to be a real big push from the content and what you're talking about to display those two other things and to put, I'm going to say, the consumer, the general public at the center of the story.
Mm.
And yeah, specific clients, for sure, you just want to make sure you're talking broadly about things, I feel like, rather than saying, hey, Jane O'Hare was going to buy this house and what a bleep and bleep.
Cluster.
Yeah. Um, but they, and so some people have this like negative connotation about authenticity when it's more of they know it's not okay to put themselves at the center of attention because that's not building a relationship. But then there's a whole slew of real estate agents, content creators out there where it is all about them.
Yeah, man.
And again, I get it when you see like, oh, it's my face. Okay, yes, it's all about me. And so you just really what the content is about plays a huge deal in that.
So, guys, some of the things to take away from this is number one, obviously, the trust triangle. Like, are you with your content? Are you being authentic? Are you talking about the right stuff? Are you being logical? And then are you showing empathy? And like he said, and he continues to say, are you talking to the consumer? Making it about them, even though it's your face and you're delivering the content, are you making it about them? That's what people want. They want to be seen, they want to be understood, they want to be cared about. And Patrick continues to do this at a high level. Guys, I would strongly recommend that you go follow him on every social you can find him on. And if you like some of his stuff, I'm just going to say it, rip it off and duplicate it, because good luck, but try it. Give it a go.
You know what is also popular today, and this may be a good thing to talk about as well, and I see a lot of people having success with it, is these accounts that I Ken down in Orlando does this very well. Brandon Blankenship in Chicago. Matt London does a lot of
Mm-hmm.
this. Will Sawyer to a degree too. Those are just the ones that pop in my head. I know there's a ton of females doing it as well, but they're doing this news, sort of like breaking news, if you will, about real estate developments in the area, new restaurants and things coming to town, infrastructure projects in where they are. And so they're not even necessarily putting their face on the camera. They're
Mm-hmm.
just, some of it's like B-roll footage with the headline. And look, from my talks with these guys, a lot of them are using VAs to go and source the information, because a lot of it is, how many Google alerts are you going to set up for Boston real estate news, new Boston real estate developments in Boston for real estate, and times surrounding communities. Plus, you're going on the zoning board and planning board's website and looking at media minutes and stuff. But that stuff plays really well, and it's factual based content that can be polarizing because, I don't know if down in Louisiana anyone's like this, but if we have a new building going up in the area, there's a lot of opinions on that.
Sure. Right.
Good, bad, otherwise. So just on the fact that you're putting a fact out there that, hey, new 60-story apartment complex coming to downtown Beverly, like, you're going to get reaction to that.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because like you don't even have to take a specific stance just to drop a fact.
Totally.
As you see the consumer in the past, I don't know, a couple years or so, maybe more, people are moving further away from legacy media and kind of like you said, be the source of the local news, be the town mayor. And like you, Brandon, Ken Posick for sure, Matt London, like you said, I follow all these guys and they're doing it at a high level. Guys, they're not doing anything that you could not replicate. Now,
Totally.
they are further ahead because they've been practicing the craft for a long time, but it's something that you could start and even start today.
Yep. And what you said right there in terms of practicing the craft, that matters. Like how you show up matters. How you talk, well, when you edit, the fat you trim out, and all of that matters. I think that what played in my favor was coming from music and performing sort of background, that I was, even in the early days of the very beginning of Instagram, I was making videos on there. They weren't necessarily very good, but I certainly wasn't afraid to do it. Whereas I remember some of my contemporaries back then, like there was just no way they were going to, like, no, I'm not doing a video, not a chance, no way. So the practicing of the craft, and I think I've seen people talk about Ken this way, even as someone who is successful as he is, with like a guy like pretty much has like a media company. Like
for sure.
If something's happening in Orlando, like he's probably invited to it, like with the rest of the media. Yeah, and he practices. Like, can he be better on camera? Could he delivered something better? Was like that stuff is important. Don't let it stop you from ever posting something. But yeah, like self-evaluating the same way you would with any piece of business. Like, hey, we didn't get that listing. Why? What could I have done better? Did I really do everything I could have? Like, like really self-evaluating and talking with, the people in your world and team about it. And at the same time, because you're going to go out to, your personal board of advisors and people and say, hey, what did you think of this piece of content?
Sure.
You may get feedback that you don't necessarily agree with or like, and you don't have to take it in. If that's really a reflection of who you are and how you feel about the subject. And so don't listen necessarily to the content feedback, but listen to the delivery feedback.
No doubt, man. Guys, we are going to tie a bow on this because we're getting close to time, and I could literally, as you see, sit and talk to Patrick forever. But man, what's like one tip, one trick, one statement that you want to leave with the people of the internet today?
Oh man, there's so much. That's such a heavy.
You got a big, beautiful brain.
When you feel like there is resistance, when you feel like it's not going right, it very well may be true. And yet the old adage of that's when most people stop always comes into play. If it's not working and you're failing, it very well could be like, yo, listen, turn and go in the other direction. And the one last thing I'll say is, look, if everyone is over here doing this, the easiest way to attract business is to be over here. That's all I got.
That's all I got. Just drops a hammer on everybody and then just says, that's all I got. Patrick, always a pleasure, man. Appreciate your time today, dude. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. Guys, go give them a follow, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Go make today and this weekend great. We will see you bright and early Monday morning. Deuce!
Bye.